Welcome back. I'm Anil Mall. I represent the Canadian Securities Exchange, and this is an update on an existing issuer, Nextleaf Solutions Inc. I have the pleasure of talking virtually with Paul Pedersen. He is the president CEO of the company. Paul, thank you for your time today. How are you?
Great to see you again, Anil.
Yeah, likewise. I hope I know you and your team are having a strong start to the new year. So let's just jump right into this. Obviously, we want to give the investment community a quick update on the company and what you and your team have been up to. So, Paul, why don't we start with 2021 and how the year ended for the company? Give us a little bit of an update on that.
2021 was a great year for us. We laid a lot of groundwork. Finished the year $3 million in cannabis concentrate sales, largely to a small number of clients. During the year, we supplied one of the largest companies, a NASDAQ listed company, with our CBD ingredients. We think it's really a function of the quality and price points of our distillate, but more importantly, really validating our IP stack. During the year, we acquired the award-winning Prohibition era brand Glacial Gold, and September launched in British Columbia 7 vape and oil SKUs. And for us, that was an important graduation of the business to be able to supply the BC liquor distribution branch and obviously get it into the 500 retailers across the province. So in the first 4 weeks of sales, over $300,000 in sales, and proud to say finished 2021 as a top 10 vape and oil supplier. We sold more vapes and oils than Canopy, Aurora, T-God, Sundial, some massive companies that have raised literally billions of dollars, and I think really set ourselves up well for 2022.
I remember late last year when the Glacial Gold brand came out and was announced. It was well received by the market, not the market, I should say, but the consumers. It was very well received. There was a lot of talk around it. So the brand's been doing good for you guys.
You know what? The brand was really popular before weed was legal. Won a number of awards. Won the Cannabis Cup, the Karma Cup, the Canadian Cannabis Awards back in 2017, and I think more importantly, we felt it was a great fit with Nextleaf's IP and technology around distilling THC and CBD oils. We've got over 10 issued patents around the distillation of cannabinoids, and for us, we felt that an award-winning brand that consumers really recognized, and combining with our high purity distillates and extracts, was going to be a great fit with consumers, and I think it's been really popular. We were nominated for a Brand of the Year award, and I think more importantly, though, the feedback from retailers and the consumers has been fantastic here in British Columbia.
I hear you, Paul. So let's get into 2022 now. So we get into the new year. Your team just recently announced that Glacial Gold will now be available in the Ontario cannabis stores. Talk to us about that. What does that signify for the company?
That was really important for us, and a very important milestone. I mean, the OCS is the single largest buyer of federally regulated cannabis in the world, right? And obviously Ontario, it's our biggest market. The vape market in Ontario is 4 times the size of the BC market, and we think that it might be a $300 million market there this year for vapes, and for us, we want a big chunk of that. Our technology allows us to produce ingredients, CBD and THC ingredients, at scale, and we believe we have the low cost advantage in Canada, and it's a great opportunity, obviously, to graduate the brand, increase our distribution from coast to coast. We recently announced Nova Scotia, launching through the Nova Scotia Liquor Commission, which we think is very significant as well. There's a number of major producers that haven't been able to get listed in Nova Scotia, and I think what we're seeing right now, it's a battle for SKUs, right? And we're battling all these billion-dollar companies, and some of these provinces like Nova Scotia have room for like 300 total SKUs, including flower and extracts, right? And for us, it's very important that we've launched strongly in British Columbia, because what that's really done is it's demonstrated our ability to delight consumers with disruptive price points, and it's just some great products, and just really excited to take that to the rest of the country.
Yeah. Paul, you mentioned the battle of the SKUs and obviously having a competitive price point for your products to be able to get into these stores. What were some of the other hurdles that you've had to overcome to be able to get into some of these other provinces?
I think, for us, operating in the world's largest federally regulated market, I mean, it's something that the MSO gang doesn't need to go through, is that rigorous, takes years of hoops jumping through, and we've built a quality management system that is world class, literally world class, and that's been a multi-year process. It's been 5 years from when we founded the company and acquired some very novel intellectual property from BC's legacy operators, and for us, getting into Ontario has been obviously an important part of that evolution as a business. But the challenge in all these provinces is getting listed, getting SKUs. That's slow. You gotta really demonstrate that with sales. And for us, I think the sky's the limit. We're a right-sized cannabis company for the Canadian market, and that's very important, right? All these guys, the Rob Andersons of the world focused on square feet of funded capacity. It was the wrong metric, right? It was how a lot of these big guys were funded and built. And the truth is, no one was focused on the cost side and actually being the most efficient cannabis company. For us, we're in a 6,000 square foot, highly automated extraction plant just outside of Vancouver, and we think tremendous competitive advantage when we look at our overhead versus some of these other guys. We got a small team. We got about 24 people, very, very committed.
Yeah.
And for us, it allows us to put unbelievable products in market at very disruptive price points. And it's been a lot of fun to go head to head against some of these guys that have raised billions of dollars, tobacco, alcohol, funded some of these competitors of ours. Yeah. And it's really been a great opportunity to validate the value of our IP here in British Columbia and in Canada's federally regulated market.
Yeah. And obviously it also gives you that, how do I say it? It also gives you that confidence to get out there because it's being well received by the community. So, Paul, what is next for the company? What provinces are you able to talk about that you might be looking at next?
Well, I mean, for us, our goal in 2022 is coast to coast distribution here in Canada. We've got a very aggressive international strategy, and I think for us, obviously for every cannabis company, the big macro catalyst is U.S. legalization. And when people ask me what's our U.S. strategy, I always say it's filing patents. We want to build the largest, most robust U.S. patent portfolio when it comes to the extraction, refinement, and distillation of cannabinoids. Currently have 17 issued patents in the U.S. and it's about creating products that are compliant, ready to go. As companies like Germany, Malta, we're gonna see continued legalization in Europe.
Yeah.
And we think as a leading innovator here in Canada's regulated market, it's going to be a great opportunity for us to export some of that made in BC technology.
Well said, Paul. Now, you're obviously got your ear to the street. I want to talk, and I want to hear you talk actually a little bit about the federal legalization angle in the U.S. What are your thoughts on it, and where are we right now?
2019, I got asked that question in Chicago, and my answer, I got actually booed off the stage by some of the MSOs and the U.S. operators that were there, and my response was 5 years away, and I still believe that it's still years away. I mean, the issues with the the Joe Bidens and the Nancy Pelosi's and the Republican-led Senate. I mean, these are the folks that have kept cannabis illegal for years and decades and haven't looked at the data, right? Like you look in Canada here, it took a lot for the Liberals to legalize cannabis, and we've got 3 great years of data here, but I don't think it's going to happen overnight. I mean, obviously, it's been 3 years and the U.S. hasn't been able to regulate CBD, right? But on the flip side, I think it's a tremendous advantage to a company like ours where we're able to bring in scientists from all over the world. We've got one of the top chemists from China working on the acetylation of cannabinoids and some other very, very interesting parts to our business in the specialty molecules division. And this has really allowed us, by operating in a federally regulated legal framework, to develop some awesome IP and continue to secure U.S. intellectual property rights for the next 20 years. And that's really our goal as a company. And being ready whenever the U.S. opens up, we're going to be ready to play in that market. But for us, it's all about staying lean, having a small footprint, controlling our overheads. We're in this for the long haul, and just very excited for the future.
Perfect. Paul, well, I wanted to make sure that we took a few minutes to talk about, how the last year ended, your brand, Glacial Gold, being included and available in the Ontario cannabis stores. What's next for the industry as a whole and Nextleaf as a team? Obviously, we at the CSE wish you and your team nothing but success as you move forward, not only in this landscape, but in 2022 as well. Just give our audience, your team has been very good at meeting milestones. You say you're going to do something. It's been consistently proven that you do meet these milestones. So what can people look out for in the next 3 to 6 months?
It's a continued ramping of our top line, continuing to build out our bulk ingredient business, and most importantly, rolling out Glacial Gold. And in 2022, it's getting to profitability. When we look at the space, whether you're operating in the U.S. or these big Canadian guys, it's been tremendously difficult. There just isn't a lot of profitable cannabis companies out there. Guys got too big, too grandiose, and I think in this market, really validating your business model to cash flow is very important, and for us, it's also about building to the future, continuing to build what we think is the most valuable IP portfolio in the industry, and continuing to build on that and get ready for the future.
Perfect. Paul, it's always a pleasure talking to you and getting some insight from you in the industry. Again, I want to thank you on behalf of the Canadian Securities Exchange and our audience for taking the time to join us today. You've been listening to Paul Pedersen. He's the CEO of Nextleaf Solutions Inc. They trade under the symbol OILS, OILS, on the Canadian Securities Exchange. Paul, thank you again, and we look forward to nothing but more success and news from your team, and we'll have you on soon.
Thanks so much, Anil.
Cheers.